Good.
Hello everyone, this is Jason Sharkey with Stories of Them from the Literacy Coalition. Here is my mom once again.
Hi.
And today, last time since we did the water compass, we are doing, well, we're going to look like the same way. Where you don't see our face, but you see our hands.
Yep. We're still going to have fun though.
Mm-hmm.
Today's activity is actually doing an owl pellet dissection.
Yes. Some good books to think about this would be Hoot. I read this in 4th grade, and it was really good.
By Carl Hyacin. He's a local Florida author.
Yep.
You can read bedtime books like Little Owl's Night.
Yep.
And you can also find books from the Guardians of Ga'Hoole series by Catherine Lasky. And then Jonathan Allen is a British author and artist who has a whole series of books about baby owl. He's not cute, he's not sleepy, he's not Santa, all kinds of different stories.
I have so many books of those.
You do, they're fun. So this, what you need for today is you're gonna get an owl pellet. We have links on the lesson to help you know what to get. A toothpick, a piece of paper, some forceps, which is another word for tweezers.
A tray.
And then as an optional, you can get an ID chart and a pencil. Now, we're gonna dissect an owl pellet for you. And these are the forceps. They look like tweezers. And then the toothpick could also be like a bamboo skewer. And then I'm gonna take, instead of a paper, I'm gonna use a whiteboard. And I'm gonna draw a couple of circles so that when Jacen gets some of the bones out of this pellet, he'll have a place to sort them.
I've actually never done one of these before, so I'm a little nervous.
That's okay. It's cool to try something new. So first, you're working on a white piece of paper as a surface so you can find everything. Now, tell me what this pellet is like.
Well, it looks weird and dried out. It looks like one of those cat fur balls.
It does.
But it's all dried out.
It's kind of the same idea. Owls or raptors are bird of prey, and they swallow their prey whole, and they'll eat things like little voles or snakes or mice and rats and even other birds. And what happens is they can't digest all the bones and fur and feathers. So about once a day, if they've been eating well, they spit up a pellet. Now these pellets have been baked in an oven, so they're sanitary. If you order them online, they're not going to be smelly or squishy or wet or anything like that.
Wait, and you can get owl pellets online?
Yeah, totally.
Oh.
And so, what you'll do, these guys actually came from a barn owl, but you're going to use your hands, not your tools, and you're going to break that pellet in parts.
Now, if you want to hear what an owl pellet sounds like, you can grab one of these.
Oh, if you want to hear what an actual owl sounds like, Jacen was really excited about this. This is our owl caller. Not all owls hoot. This is the sound of a great horned owl.
Then we also got a screech owl.
Yep.
And this one's from a barn owl, and it sounds terrifying.
So it turns out the screech that comes from a barn owl is scarier than the pellet you're about to dissect.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, I'm not so sure about that, but...
That's okay. Go ahead and crack it open gently.
I was actually assuming it to be wet and stuff.
It's not. It's very dry.
Oh, that was really easy.
And once you break it apart, you'll start picking out bones. Now, we're going to hold this bone way up so you can see it better. This bone is actually a jawbone. And I recognize it because we have our ID charts. You can print these out online from Carolina Biological, Home Science Tools, Nature Watch. There's lots of different places. But I like this particular chart because it gives you the ability to identify different types of species.
Yeah.
The one from Home Science Tools is pretty spectacular because it really gets in detail with the mouse. So the first bone that Jacen pulled out was a large jawbone that fits right here next to
So
the
I
chart.
got another little bone right here.
Very good. And we can go ahead and sort your bones inside different sections that you have put aside.
Yeah.
Now sometimes you're going to come across stuff like a big skull.
Yeah.
And whenever you do, those are very fragile. So you might want to use the toothpick or the bamboo skewer to get those pieces of fur out. When you have little chunks of fur like this, the best thing to do is kind of roll it between your fingers. And when you do, you'll get little bones,
Like this one.
just like this one, that you wouldn't be able to feel otherwise.
Yep.
Now, remember, sometimes you can find insect parts. Sometimes you'll find mice or rats. One time, I actually found parts of a bird. And I know that this was a part of a bird. This was the keel, or the chest muscle, or the chest bone of a bird. And I know because it's very clear. Birds have hollow bones, so it's super, super light. So if you're dissecting an owl pellet and all of a sudden you come across these really light, almost clear looking bones, they're probably from a bird. What are you finding so far, Jace?
I'm finding a bunch of stuff, mostly hair, but...
So, as we break apart, I'm gonna work on half of this. We're gonna kind of do it as a team. But the easiest thing is to work on it together and start pulling out all the little bones. Here's a little tiny rib bone.
There's a little bone right here I got.
Yeah. Nice.
Right here.
Here's another little rib bone.
Yep, we're gonna have lots of rib bones.
Which makes a lot of sense because vertebrates have a lot of ribs. So that makes sense.
Oh, I think I may have came across something big.
Well, I came across a skull.
Oh, you did? Let me see.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So these are the two front incisors, or the front teeth
Of a mouse?
of a mouse or some kind of
Oh, I think I may have gotten a little bit of a mouse too.
So I'm actually pulling it apart, and if you'll look, there's the front end. Now go
Yeah.
ahead and see if you can pull that whole skull out. Pull the whole thing.
Oh, whoops, I accidentally start pulling the teeth out.
Yep,
Are those teeth the front parts?
they sure are. All right, we
hard.
might need that toothpick to kind of break some of this fur up. Thank
Watch
you.
out, I don't want to stab you.
Thanks, I appreciate that. I don't want to get stabbed either. All right, see how that toothpick or the bamboo skewer helps to get the little pieces of fur out?
Yeah.
All right, you can let go.
Go.
And then I can pull these little pieces out with my fingers. Everything is very dusty and dry. Here's the rest of your skull.
Ooh, look at that. Okay, guys, so here's the skull.
Yeah, and
And I don't think it's actually the complete part of it.
no, but you want to be gentle because the skulls break apart really easily.
No.
You're doing great, Jace.
Thank you.
Now, I know that what he has in his hands right now is an omnivore. An omnivore eats both meat and... what else?
Veggie.
That's right, they eat meat and plants. And I can tell because these guys have molars. They have these little flat teeth right here, just like what you and I have. So I'll set the big skull aside for now. And Jacen can keep going through and pulling out all sorts of bones and sorting them. But
Yeah,
you can spend a long time
This one's pretty hard to get off.
sorting bones. So thanks for watching. We're going to let Jace continue on this, but you can
look.
easily work...
I got one of the mouse's tooth.
Oh yeah, one of his incisors?
Yeah, one of his teeth.
Wait a minute. I already found a mouse incisor. Maybe there's two different skulls in this pellet.
I think there is.
It's possible because sometimes owls can eat more than one thing before they cast a pellet.
Yep.
So today's program is brought to you by
The Children's
Children's Services Council of Palm Beach County.
Primetime Palm Beach County, Literacy Coalition Stories and STEM.
Thank you so much for watching. Have a lot of fun trying out some owl pellets at home.
Yep. We will see you on the next Stories in STEM. Bye-bye. Cut.